Here it is. Bop. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Southside Rabbi. I'm your boy, I'm Ian Dream Hudson. And next to me is a man that has more wisdom than Solomon.
Whoa, then Solomon?
Yeah. You don't know that?
How wise could he be?
That's how humble he is, though. That's
I
how.
could have told him, I said, hey, what you about to do, big dog? It ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work, though. Don't do it, though.
It ain't gonna work.
Don't do it, dog. You know what I'm saying? Leave these women alone, Solomon.
I'm trying to tell
Leave them alone. It says something that God gave Solomon all of the wisdom, but Solomon's weakness was still the women. He didn't listen. And he was the most wisest man in the world. I think that means something. I think that means something.
Can I reframe it by saying,
yeah,
Solomon's problem was his lust.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And the wisdom didn't just because he had a wisdom. It didn't.
Man, you done read every book you done read the studies. You done collected the degrees. That's like
convicting,
Pokemon
man.
balls.
Yeah, that's convicting, bro. And he could probably tell you all about how. Yeah, that is crazy to think about, man. That's how sin works. So, sin cannot be defeated by your own knowledge or power or willpower or access. It does not. That's not the kind of sin. Is an enemy that is spiritual. Yes. So none of your physical devices, including your knowledge and your money and your wealth, can defeat it, bro. Yes. You need God. You need Jesus to do it. You need someone who has spiritual power.
The Bible calls it a nature. Sin is a nature in your existence that needs to be confronted with a new nature.
Oh my gosh.
Or hang it up.
Hang it up. Man, listen, I just did this to try to encourage this man on how wise he was. I didn't think we were going to get into talking about Solomon and sin and lust but that's but I mean
sounds
that's
like every male small group in all of America
right. But yes, the person next to me has more wisdom than Solomon.
I have at least a little more wisdom. I have more wisdom than Solomon in that I've only been with one woman.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. For how long? How long have you and wifey been married?
We've been married for I think 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was 15 years. I thought about it the other day, but I was like, damn, 15 years, man.
I'm talking about, we come out the locker room.
Hey, no, y'all are on the field. First quarter.
We the first
You're
quarter.
at least in a shotgun like Tom Brady in first quarter. Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming out. I'm
first
8 years.
Of the game.
I'm 8 years, so we still get
y'all on the field with y'all warming up.
Yeah, we stretching.
The game ain't started yet.
Well, that much stretching, bro. There's a running drills with no pads on.
How come everybody that's been married for a long time, every time you try to relate to them, be like, hey, like, how long you been married? I've been married for 7 years. Yeah, me and wifey coming up on 23, man. Wait till you hit 15.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, okay, all right. How many kids you got? Well, we got one. Wait till you get 3.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Okay, all right. I mean, we have one biological. We adopted 2. How old are they? I mean, they all of them below 10.
Wait till they get 13.
Wait till they're 13.
They always one up in you. Oh my gosh. You be like, how old are you? Then it get to the point of just age. How old are you? Man, about 32. Wait till you get 42. Like, bruh, okay. All right, brother. But yeah, like, I just want to encourage my brother right here, man.
Thank you.
Love this dude, man. I think I'm not being funny this time. He is a person that I look to for spiritual inspiration. I have people that I look to for spiritual inspiration. I think the Bible makes that very clear that we should have folks that we are encouraged by.
Yeah.
And that we seek to emulate as they emulate Christ. You know what I'm saying? So I think my brother is definitely one of those people that are at the top of my list.
Wow. Likewise.
And I really appreciate you, and I'm glad that the Lord has allowed us to have the friendship that we have.
Yes.
I'm grateful for it and thankful for it, man. And
I just want to say that I'm more grateful than you are.
Oh, okay.
And you're not even on the list. The name of my list is I mean wisdom.
Oh my gosh.
I mean spirituality, and then I name people under I mean spirituality. That's when I actually start my list. So
okay,
you'll get there. But I really appreciate what you share. But whatever it is, just know that it's here. And I feel stronger about the brotherhood and
right there
the partnership here. So it's here to here. You see the distance?
Right. I see the
You know
distance.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
All right.
Stupid.
This is unrelated.
Yeah.
If someone were to give you $10 million, if you were $10 million, 10 M's, you have it's one, but there's one condition. You have to disappear for 30 days.
But what do you mean by disappear?
So you're safe. You're in witness protection somewhere, right? But you cannot tell your wife where you are. You can't tell your friends. No one can know. You
For
just
a
have
month?
for 30 days. You have to volunteer. They call it voluntary missing person. You have to become a voluntary missing person for 30 days with no explanation. If you complete that 30 days, you come back home and you get a check for 10 M's.
I was literally going to ask that. Taxed or no tax?
It was 20 M's.
Okay, so now I get 10
So you
when
get
Uncle
10
Sam robs us.
10 net.
Let me stop saying that. When Uncle Sam gets what he deserves. I don't want Uncle Sam coming after me.
Taxation. Like, oh, you think I'm robbing you?
Oh, okay. IRS show up at my door the next day.
Yeah.
Would I do it is the question. Man, listen, well, what I'm going through right now, brother, I might be gone for 6 months without being an explanation. That means that I get 10 million after that bug, bro. Right now, I am struggling. No, I think, okay. Just the trauma that I would put my wife through for a month of her not knowing where I am and probably calling the police, reporting me as a missing person.
And by 2 weeks in, she's probably like, he's dead.
He's gone. And then I have a new son. I don't know if 10 million might make up for it, though. If I pop back up,
15 million.
If I pop back up and say, baby, I know that I know you're very upset.
Is suffering not the pathway to success?
But listen, we're about to go buy a home right now, cash. We're paying off all of our debt. We're putting I mean Junior's kids in college. Kids through college. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take. Hold on, man. Hold on. There's got to be some kind of catch here, though, bro. I'm trying to make sure it's not a trick question.
Eric
bro.
said he got to think about it. He said, I'm out of there.
Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
She said she ain't gonna remarry by 30 days.
I got 10 million reasons why you shouldn't be mad anymore that I did this. That's what I would say to my wife. But I got 10 million reasons why this should not be a non-issue anymore.
The problem is,
who is facilitating this?
Jeff Bezos.
I don't know.
That man is just trying to do a thought experiment.
I don't know, bro.
What about 20 M's? Is
20 M's? You said 20 and I have to be gone for 1 month?
30 days, but you're gone with no explanation. So
I explain it to y'all when I get back. I will explain it. 20 M's, I'm explaining it to y'all. That's like me playing. That's like me getting a professional sports contract. I will explain it to y'all when I get back, and y'all are just going to have to understand, bro. Yeah, I think that I would do that, bro.
Do you believe that your wife would forgive you?
Yes, but I don't think it would be right away.
But it would be worth the tension.
Yes. I'm sorry, bro. 20 M's? 10 M's? Yes. Have y'all ever been poor? Have y'all ever do y'all understand what kind of tension you're under when you don't have any money? Yes, absolutely.
And
we will overcome that quickly.
I'm also thinking about the people that you could help.
Yeah. People
are hungry.
Yes.
You can eliminate poverty.
Yes.
On your block.
Yes. Yeah, I will take that. I will take that risk, bro. Better than the tension that you have when you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills. Yeah.
Which you would never have to experience again if you're wise with your money. You have to never.
Yeah, you have to be wise with your. You have to be wise with your dough.
Okay, all right. One more, last one. Then I'm gonna let it go.
Y'all tell us in the comments what y'all would do.
What would y'all do? Yeah, I'm super curious. I asked my wife this yesterday, and I could not pick a number that would even have her consider. Like I couldn't.
I'm gonna ask my wife.
I said, "What about $1 billion?" She was like, "It could be $1 trillion. I would never, ever, ever, ever do that."
Huh?
And I said
$1 billion. I would say.
And I said, "That's why Kevin Samuel said
we're getting a divorce." You mean to tell me $1 billion? $1 billion, and you would not leave me for a month with no explanation? You better.
You found out your wife was offered $1 billion to just disappear for 30 days. And she's in witness protection. She's protected.
Yeah.
She's 3
I'm
square
traumatized.
meals.
I would be willing to go through
And you
that trauma
can't-
for $1 billion, bro. My trauma will be fixed very quickly once I see $1 billion in my bank account.
So you would be angry with your wife if you found out she said,
Yeah, I
"Babe,
would be like, baby, do you understand this could have changed the trajectory of our kids' life? Yes.
So your wife comes to you and says, "Babe, you will not believe today, some rich trillionaire, he owns NVIDIA, he wanted to offer some of us $1 billion to just disappear for 30 days."
Listen,
And I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to leave my husband and my son like that. What would you say to her?
you are crazy.
Why are you?
Have you lost
Do you
your
still
mind?
have his number? Do you have his number? When does the offer expire?
Have you lost your mind?
Well, can I go do it?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
All right.
So KB is having a colonoscopy.
Yes.
And
But all
I
can-
have one coming up because we're at that age as black men. Let me just tell y'all this. This is good for y'all to know. Black people and Latino people are getting colon cancer very early.
Yep.
So when you hit your 30s, it's a good idea to start now scheduling that colonoscopy.
Yes.
And not they're lowering the age. It used to be like 40s,
It was
50s.
40, like 40 something.
40, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's good to get it. So yes. KB is being responsible and
Yes.
doing what he needs to do.
And I am ironically not as concerned about what they might find as much as I am about
Going to sleep.
going to sleep.
That's the easiest part.
That's what everyone is saying to me, but it's not clicking. Okay? I've been just reading when
God put Adam to sleep, took that rib right out.
He did.
Yeah.
You're right. He did put
Just
Adam
look
to
at
sleep.
this as an
Anesthesia
extension.
started in the garden.
It started in the garden, brother.
What?
Who do you
why
think? God is the original anesthesiologist, bro.
That's fire, actually.
He is the original anesthesiologist, my man.
Yes.
So
I just keep hearing the Lord say through Paul, be anxious for nothing.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
Through all things, prayer and supplication. Be anxious for nothing. But when you are feeling anxious, pray
Yeah.
and request that the Lord would help you.
Mhm.
You probably shouldn't go to WebMD a
Please
whole
don't.
lot.
That's what I do.
Or I know every case of healthy young people that went for a routine something
Me too.
and
Yeah.
and then they put that whatever that thing is the
anesthesia.
yes,
the anesthesia.
See chloroform.
No.
What is it called?
The anesthesia. I'm just gonna put it. Let's call
What
it
is the
that.
stuff that you're allergic to?
I'm allergic to C-chlor.
Chlorophyll.
No, not chlorophyll.
Sorry.
C-chlor.
C-chlor.
Yeah.
That C-chlor went through there. I asked the doctor, I said, can you just like put a little in my arm to see if I'm allergic? He said, no, we won't know until we put it until we.
Yeah, but they can reverse it pretty quick if you're allergic. They have ways that they can.
You think?
Yeah, they did. No, I don't think I know. They have ways that they can combat that.
Okay, that was helpful.
Yeah, this ain't the 70s
And they'd
anymore.
be like, they let you know when you're
Well,
dead.
He had a
Didn't
good
work.
run. Yeah, right. He had a good run. Now we know that this doesn't work. We probably should think about something that could reverse this.
Bro, it's just,
You are living. This is one thing I want you to think though.
yeah,
First, yes, be anxious for nothing, and in everything, prayer and supplication, not WebMD.
yes.
Because
And all
I've done that
articles
too.
about
Because I
young
know
people
all about elbow cancer, all kind of things
no.
I didn't thought that I didn't had.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm KB knows I'm more of an I'm more naturally an anxious person. So if I get hurt, I think it's the worst. And KB knows I've been like that since I was young.
Yeah.
But I think that one of the things you also have to consider is that you are literally living in a time where medical science has not been as good. This is the best medical science. You're at the zenith of medical science so far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're literally at a time where medical science has not been as good
Yes.
ever in history as it is now, bro.
Yes.
So you're like in the safest hands that you could possibly be in medically.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're going to Dr. Death, which I don't think you are.
Oh Lord.
You ain't going to the man around the corner that says I'll give you a colonoscopy for $35.
I got you, no problem. I put a camera in there. I'll let you know
all
what
you
I
got to
see.
do is come up in Park Coventry Apartments in 213, and I got you. I take a picture of my iPhone.
I'll
show
videotape
you
the whole
right,
thing. You can watch it.
That's not what's happening. So I think you'll be fine, and it's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna feel like you took a nap for 1 minute. You'll be all right.
Man, well, y'all, this when this comes out, the colonoscopy will be over, or I'll be over. One of the two.
It's gonna definitely be the former.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I need to hear that.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about how the whole popular phrase that Ben Shapiro, was talking about how facts don't care about your feelings, and that is true, but it's far more true, or there's far more gravity in the inverse, which is that feelings don't care about your facts.
True.
Where I just feel
it doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm giving you facts though.
Yeah.
But feelings need to be beholden to facts.
Right.
To be guided by facts.
Right.
So thank you for these facts, bro.
Yeah.
Because that does make me feel a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
That because and I'm also thinking, I'm always I'm thinking about that passage that we were talking about before we started this podcast, with the parable of the sower.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the particular case in the 4 cases in that passage of the kinds of ground the seed was falling on.
Right.
One of those cases,
Matthew 13.
Yep. The seed or the faith of this individual was corrupted or shipwrecked.
Right.
We use biblical language.
Right.
By the cares of this world.
Yes. As for what sows among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it proves unfaithful.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a deceit that riches carry with it.
Yeah.
That suffocated.
Yep.
Your faith in God, and then his agenda, his reality, stuff like that.
Right.
Navigating this world requires you to engage with its cares.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, share about how we often think about that text.
Yeah. I think that when we think about the parable of the sowers, and we think about this particular person where the seed falls among the thorns, and it says, the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke out the word and proves unfruitful. We always think about that passage and that sower as a person that leaves the faith because they just want to buy Rolls Royces and mansions, and they're going after riches, right? But we never think about what it says. Shout out to our brother Shylin for this, where it talks about the cares of this world. It says cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches, but the cares of this world are not always bad, right? So me and KB are married. We have wives. We both have a wife. Sorry.
Yeah.
We have.
You gotta be clear these days.
Yeah, you got to be clear these days, especially this manosphere age that we're in. We both have our own wife and we have children, and the cares of this world would cause us to care about the things that they need. So we need to be able to produce money to pay rent or pay mortgage because they need a place to live. We need to be able to buy them our children clothes. We need to be able to put food on the table, right? We need to be able to, I don't know, have transportation. All of those things take money, right? And all of those things are part of what we would call the cares of this world, right? Wanting to make sure that your kid has money to go to school if they want to go to college, wanting to make sure that your kid has new sneakers if they need new sneakers, like all of the needs in which are
wanting to not die during my colonoscopy.
Wanting to not die during your colonoscopy.
That's a good care.
Yeah.
But it's of this world.
It's of this world,
not
right?
of this world as in sinful,
right?
But of this world as in it is not like something that's inherently like a heavenly or spiritual reality. Right,
exactly. Or wanting to be healthy, wanting to make sure that you go to the gym and you got your body is working well, your diet is good, like you're not eating a bunch of food that's going to cause your heart to fail, later on in life. All of those things are what we would call the cares of this world. And I think that when we hear about this passage and people talk about the cares of this world, and you hear this coupled with deceitfulness of riches, we only think about people forsaking Jesus for riches, but we don't think about the temptation that we can have to forsake God for the cares of this world that are things that are not inherently evil, but good.
Yes.
Right? So you could have the temptation to forsake God for your fitness.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That is a good care to have, that you want to be healthy, you want to be around for your family. You don't want to be having swollen feet at 55 years old, like your grandfather did, especially if you come from like our background.
Yeah.
But there is a way in which we can place the cares of this world over God.
Yes.
And then when we can start saying, these cares are more important than the affairs of the kingdom.
That's right.
And these cares are more important than the fundamentals of my spiritual life and my
That's
faith.
right. That's right.
And then we can get sidetracked. And then when we're thinking about the things that take priority in our life, our faith in the kingdom is not first, but the cares of this world is first.
Yes.
And then the faith comes after that. And
Yes,
then
yes.
the faith is kind of like a wagon that we're dragging behind.
Yes.
The thing that's leading the wagon, which is us going after the things of the cares for this world.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I think that it's hard sometimes because there's so many cares in this world that are not inherently evil. And God tells us, like, hey man, if you don't provide for your family, you're worse than an unbeliever.
Yes.
Right. So as you said, the Bible even makes it clear that we have to engage in the cares of this world.
Yes, that's right.
We have
that's
to.
right. Yeah.
We cannot just abandon, and in some sense, us abandoning our participation in being responsible to handle the cares of this world would be disobedience to God. That would be just as sinful as putting the cares of this world over God.
Yes.
So I think that it would, for you to say, you know what, I'm not going to work anymore. I'm just going to go and live under a bridge and preach the gospel because I don't want to engage in the cares of this world. I don't know if that's what God will call you to do. Maybe if he came, I don't know.
Yes.
But I think that in some ways, us abdicating our responsibilities for the cares of this world can be just as sinful as us putting those responsibilities over Christ.
Right.
And I think that there's a hard tension to have because depending on your circumstance and situation, the cares of the world may weigh on you a little heavier than at other times. At times, it may be easier for you to be like, I'm going to put the kingdom over the cares of this world when everything's going well.
Yeah.
But when you have stuff in the cares of the world that's falling, when your health is failing,
Sure.
finances are
or you're so gripped by fear that you can't do. You can't.
That's really good.
Other kids. So like you can be so gripped by fear. This is why
fear and anxiety. Yeah.
Like I think this is part of why. I'm glad that you're talking about how there are cares of this world. Not only are they not inherently evil, they are actually good.
Right.
And the fact that they're of this world is not what makes them sinful.
Right.
It becomes sinful when they get out of order.
Yeah.
In comparison or in contrast or in connection to the kingdom priority, the kingdom agenda from what God is trying to accomplish in the world and what God would have you be as a person.
Right.
So a good thing, even as I'm thinking about this colonoscopy, a lot of black men, and I speak as one, and I only have used this racial category because there is a uniqueness in the way black men are sort of falling victim to colon cancer.
Yes.
It actually is racial.
Yeah, it is.
It's not because of
numbers
of white supremacists.
Yeah.
We can't always be sensitive. I'm thinking about this. I was listening to a podcast on the ride over here, where there's just kind of a sensitivity. Like, why do you got to even bring up black? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't realize, and it's people that come from our side of the aisle, the people that are that we would find ourselves more alignment with other things, that are like, man, just say human, which is absolutely the biblical category.
Yeah, absolutely.
For race. Or just say, man, why don't you just make it a class issue or something like that? Well, you kind of sound like what feminists say when they talk about gender. When they don't want there to be distinctions. We don't want to say that there are certain things that we should be aiming at women, or certain things that should only be defined as female. We want to just talk about things more broadly so that there's space for other kinds of expressions of gender that then complicate the whole conversation.
Right.
We can do that too when we start talking about sociology and the medical field.
Right.
So all that to say, as a black man, I am in some ways more susceptible to certain kind of illnesses that somebody might not have as an Indian man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One of those is colon cancer.
Yes.
And one of the reasons that people
and the
like
medical
me
industry
don't
has
go
backed
get,
that up.
And one of the reasons people like me don't go do, one of the reasons why people like me don't go get colonoscopies is because of fear.
Yep. That is very true.
Yes.
That's kind of actually what's kept me from scheduling mine.
That's right.
Very quickly.
And I'm thinking about a brother that I know who told me, older brother, wise brother, he said, I just would rather just not know.
Yeah.
I would rather find out about it and deal with it then than to go in and then find something and now I gotta which makes no sense
Absolutely.
at all.
And when you look at the numbers of the younger people that are getting it, the fact is the data shows that the younger people are getting it are usually dying from it because they don't find out until it's way more advanced.
That's right.
If they would have caught it early, they would have been able to handle it. You know what I mean?
Which I think kind of
early detection is the key.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think that makes the point of if what God has said about who you should be. Remember, the cares of the world aren't the problem. It's the cares of the cares of the world are not the problem inherently. It's that the cares of the world get out of place in the sort of layout of what is to qualify the cares of the world.
Right.
What qualifies the cares of the world, my engagement with the cares of the world, is the cares of the kingdom.
Right.
One of the cares of the kingdom is to not be dominated by fear.
Yeah.
To not have your anxiety and your worry really write your story.
Yeah.
And giving yourself to the prescriptions and giving yourself to the prescriptions that the Bible gives us for dealing with our fear is a kingdom care. And if you give yourself to that kingdom care, it will qualify the care of this world and stop the cares of this world from choking out your faith.
Ooh. That's good.
It all kind of, it's crazy how the Bible is so particular about the things that are very common to us. Like, I need money and I need to make money, right?
Yeah.
And then I also need food and I have to think about how I'm going to get food to feed me and other people.
Right.
I need shelter.
Yeah.
I need to be able to live in a society in a way where I'm not dependent on other people for everything.
Yeah.
These are all things that are necessary for existing here, yet they're all things that can deceive you away from Jesus.
Yes. How do you balance that though?
Well,
because the people who are in a dearth of some of those things, right? Like people who are like, man, shelter, food, financial stability, health issues, whatever the case may be, if they feel like they are in a shaky place with those things and it needs tended to,
right?
How does one focus on getting to a place of stability in those things without putting it over the kingdom, especially because to not be in a place of stability in those things has so many, it can have so drastic of a consequence.
Yeah.
Like cats are getting evicted, or cats are, cancer is ravaging their body and they don't know.
Right.
Or, that how do you not make those things central when the consequences of not having those things in place like as they should be is so bad?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I think it's a good question. And again, to even just put a underscore underneath everything you're saying, it's very helpful to remember that the cares of the world that will often choke out your faith are not like you said, like driving a Rolls Royce or
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
I need a Lambo.
I keep going to the strip club. Like it's not always. I don't think it's most of the time. It's not the
vices.
Yes, it's the pitchfork.
I agree.
And the devil with the fang with the fang teeth and the forked tongue.
Yep.
Nah, it's the angel of light that's deceitful. And I think that's why Jesus says in that parable, it's the deceit that gets you.
Yes, the deceitfulness of riches.
That's right. It's
not really the riches.
Not the riches. It's what the riches begin to convince you of.
What it says to you. Yeah.
What the riches can offer you. And I think that it's not just riches.
Right.
In the parable, there's a broader application. It's just the things that you need that can, like, you need water to live, but you can drown. You know what I'm saying? Like we need fuel for our vehicles, but that fuel can burn down.
Yeah.
For a forest,
the world,
the world, or pollute our oceans or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
There is this two-sidedness of everything in this world. I think I was trying to think of an analogy while you were talking that could help make this point.
Because I say this as a person for you, you're a very ambitious man.
Yep.
Which is another aspect that I look up to you for. You have a lot of ambition. You're very good at having goals and going out and achieving them.
Right.
Building businesses.
Right.
Most of the stuff you're ambitious about, which is how it should be, is kingdom stuff.
Yep.
But you're also an ambitious businessman.
Yep.
You're good with your finances, right?
Trying.
How do you temper that, bro? Why, but then not letting that become central.
So I got two incomplete analogies, but I think they'll kind of help me make the point. One is I'm sitting here in a warehouse. There is a large LED wall behind me that is being powered by high voltage. I mean, we got 3-phase power here. I mean, there's a whole print shop here that is, that has a large automatic press that takes a lot of power.
Yep.
There are wires behind me and next to me that if I touched them, they would kill me.
Yeah.
And at all times, well, not at all times, but particularly if you step into a building, you're surrounded by something that has things in it that could the roof could cave in.
Yep.
A live wire. We could get locked in. It could catch on fire. There could be an electrical fire. All that kind of thing. The means by which we feel safe in these places, and we're not thinking that I'm going to Chick-fil-A and the ceiling may cave in on me, is because they exist inside of a structure that has things like fire marshals and there are city codes that if you're to have this place built and people are going to be coming to it, then everyone that works here has to have certain certifications.
Right.
There are all these expectations that have to be passed. When we built our house, we built a new house by God's grace over the last 3 years. It took 2 years, but we finally got into it at the beginning of this year. Bro, the amount of inspections that we had to pass before another inspection could happen, and then if one failed, that had to be redone.
Right.
It was like walking through a landmine, and I felt a field of landmines, and I felt grateful for it. But there is a kind of maintenance that has to take place.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is a constant, like, Christian podcasters.
Yeah.
You have to. There's a fine line between people that are getting behind a microphone, speaking into a camera, because they are wanting to lead people to a deeper, more, flourishing relationship with God and the society. And they do that. They do the podcast out of that heart.
Right.
There's a fine line between that and people that just love to be heard. And they also like to be praised. They like to exercise authority.
Yeah.
They love to be able to they get a sense of gratification or they get it's gratifying to them.
Yeah.
To know that they are leading people.
Yeah.
They love to be followed. They don't love to lead as much as they love what their followers make them feel. Leading is just a part of me getting what I really want,
right?
Which is you all's
your adoration.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a fine line between the two. And here's the thing. It's not discernible.
That's what I was going to say.
Oftentimes it's not discernible by
at all.
the audience.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't tell.
Same message.
Yeah.
The same content.
Yeah.
Same Bible verses.
Yeah.
Two very different motivations. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to a therapist yesterday about that. And she was talking about, like, how oftentimes narcissists, I understand we throw narcissism around all the time.
Right.
You need professionals to actually diagnose this stuff.
But narcissistic tendencies.
Yes, she said narcissists love to be therapists and pastors.
Yes. I mean, that's even in the when narcissism comes to the church book.
Yes.
One of the main things they go into, therapy and pastors.
Yes.
Yep. Because they want to counsel people.
Yes.
They want to lead people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that all of us need to be aware of the ways in which we can begin to fall prey to that.
Yeah.
You begin to craft your content for clicks. You begin to base success. Here's the worst part, bro. And I have, this, I'm speaking from, the Christian ministry industry. One of the big checks that, oh, the LED wall's not working, or there's water leaking from the roof, or something seems to be off here. The pipes, the water coming out the pipes is dark. We need to call somebody. One of the explanations of something's not working is when it is less exciting to hear that people have come to Christ or have been edified to the point of healing in their walk with the Lord, or they have some testimony of how something that you did or said or preached or rapped or podcasted changed their life. When those stories become less impressive than
growth,
than numerical milestones, when it's like, yeah, I put this reel up, it didn't do what it's supposed to do, what I wanted it to do. But in the comments, in the 30 comments or the 4 comments, 2 of those comments were, this reel saved my life, or this connected me to this situation right here that then rescued me from some, or man, this helped me to see, and you don't even care about that. Something is wrong, and that's when,
that's good.
This is where the Bible gives us this instruction of confess your sins one to another.
Right.
Go to the elders that there might be healing. Don't forsake the assembly. Listen to the encouragement daily from the brothers and sisters in your life that your heart might not become hard. He who is without sin, right?
Yeah.
He who says he doesn't have sin is a liar.
Yeah.
That we are to constantly return to this.
Yeah.
I think that is the maintenance. And I think that in helping to manage the cares of this world and keeping them from choking us and suffocating our faith, I have to care about that. And let me just say this last little thing. One of the means, bro, by which we get back to me and the brothers, this was a sacred meeting, so I'm not just saying this so that y'all would think anything about us, but I'm just saying what happened.
Yeah.
On Sunday at my crib, a bunch of brothers came through, and we had a time of feasting. Had some good Korean fried chicken.
Sure did.
We had a time of feasting. We had a time of fellowship. And then we had a time of formation, right?
Yeah.
Feasting, fellowship, formation. And what probably I thought would have been like maybe a 2-hour hangout turned into like a 6-hour.
Yeah.
I mean, we went into the morning of brothers confiding in each other, praying, the Lord meeting with us, reflecting on the gospel, people testifying to what God had done in their lives and bringing together. We got to hear the works of old. Your testimony is a work of old, brothers and sisters. The Bible says, think about the things that he has done as an indication of the things he will do. Remind yourself of how God saved you and listen to the stories of how he has saved and is saving.
Right. Yesterday,
back to the beginning of time, listen to the works of God and let them encourage you. It's better for your soul than you think. But that's a simple thing.
Yes.
That ain't no seminary, bro. People around talking about how Jesus saved them doesn't require
a degree in master's in theology. You don't have master's in theology.
Ain't no Greek or Hebrew in that. I'm not hating no Greek or Hebrew. I'm just saying there are simple things that God has given us as means of grace, from the Lord's table to fellowship with the saints, to simple confession and simple repentance, simple just praying with each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't feel like praying. You should tell your brother that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like praying. Will you pray for me?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like the simple kind of basic, non-sexy, sort of centered. This doesn't go viral.
Right.
It's the simple things that keep us afloat, which is a direct parallel to the analogy that I was making earlier. You don't know. You know them dudes that got on the roof of my house and built it? Do you realize that they are more important? The people that got on the roof of my house and structured it in a way that it passed inspections and it wouldn't collapse on us. I don't know any of their names. Yet those men are far more important than the people that designed the trinkets that we decorated our house with from home goods or at home.
Right.
Or Hobby Lobby.
Right.
Important.
Yeah. But not more important
than
those
not
who
more
held
important than the electrician that made sure that my daughter's room isn't going to catch on fire
Right.
because he skipped all these steps
Yeah.
in the process of bringing power to my daughter's room.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's often the most invisible, the most non-coveted. Nobody wants to be an electrician. You should.
Yeah, it's true, because
Well, we've been paying electricians around this place.
oh
my goodness.
gosh, yes.
I'm like, I get the bill back like, yo, what are we doing?
We need to have an electrician company.
I tell my sons, man, drop out of school now. Get your trade license today. Anyways, don't drop out of school.
Yeah.
School good. School good.
School good.
But it's often the invisible, the invisible, non-centered, non-talented. It is talent, but it's talent that's built in a meticulous skill.
Right. So it's not as sexy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Nobody's like flooding into plumbing and
Right.
and
And
flooding
roofing.
into becoming roofers.
Right.
And,
Right.
You know, we'll sell. I'll be a real estate agent.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like that. But what I'm saying is that what is most important is often what's most overlooked, like the roofer and the electrician. And for us, that is the simple, non-praise, non-viral, basic, mere Christian stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm. The fundamentals.
It's the fundamentals that keep you from being, you know, from having your faith suffocated by the cares of this world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it, and that's how I've lived my life. Not perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But we have consistently tried to give ourselves to that, bro.
Yeah.
And have little. I gave one marker, and let me give you another marker too. These are like, again, with the analogy, I came in and the LED wall's not working. Something's wrong. We need to talk to somebody about this. If you go on Instagram and you know, let's say you go on Instagram and a reel pops up or a post pops up or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's somebody in there who is preaching the truth of God's word,
Right.
and it's being well received.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 15,000 shares. It's got 1 million likes.
Right.
And if you see that and you feel discouraged that your content doesn't get that,
Oh man, stepping on some toes.
if you feel, and you know, you feel a
Little envy.
yeah, you feel a little envy. If you feel that, the cares of this world are suffocating your faith.
Yeah.
And you need to take that to Jesus
Yeah.
and take that to his people.
Yeah.
If you feel, and we've all felt that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
if you don't necessarily like what somebody's doing, let's say Mike Todd. Let's take Mike Todd, for example. Say Mike Todd is doing things you just do not agree with.
Yeah.
Right. And because you don't really like him anyways, you hear that there might be some kind of challenge at his church, or he's done something on stage that's went viral and people are like, what is he doing?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes you smile,
Ooh.
that someone that you and you may have legitimate concerns,
Right.
legitimate challenges, but you rejoice to hear that he's not doing good.
You're like, yeah.
It makes you smile that he's kind of
Inwardly.
yeah. And I'm not talking about, because you could argue, depending on what your view is on any particular leader, that you want less people to be exposed to it. That's a different thing.
That's yeah.
I'm saying
There's a kind of rejoicing. There's a little mini rejoicing.
in the calamity because I don't like the person.
Yes.
Same thing, I don't even know what they're doing.
Right. Right.
Or you reject. My sister was telling me how before I knew who Mike Todd was, my sister was telling me how her dad, who was far from God and like in the streets and all that jazz, found his way into a service at Transformation Church and heard the gospel and believed and God began to radically transform that man's life. Him and I think it was he had a girlfriend who he then married. And this dude was thriving
Wow.
in his walk with God. This is not a body. I'm just simply saying, if you can hear that even at the guy's church that you don't like, good things are happening and you can't rejoice over that.
Oof.
The cares of this world are gripping you, bro. And I know that there's a fine line, bro, between what I'm talking about and holding people accountable.
Yes.
And what I'm talking about, injustice.
Yeah.
I don't think calling people out is the opposite of loving them.
Right.
Not saying that at all.
Right.
I'm talking about the complicated sort of emotional life
that's going on in your heart that only you and God can see.
Only you and God know.
Right. Right.
That shows signs of need and need of maintenance.
Right.
These are the kinds of things you want to pick up on, because if you crush them, bro, dog, how happy is the man? How happy is the woman who doesn't envy people?
Man.
Like, how happy is the man? How happy is the woman who rejoices at the grace of God, even when it's small?
That's good.
Yeah, bro.
That's informative for us.
Yeah, bro. To be the kind of people, you know what I'm saying, that you know, I've been so dominated by the grace of God and God's goodness towards me, God's love for me and God's love for others and love for his work, that it gives me a outlook on life where it's marked by maturity. And that's what it is maturity.
It's maturity,
dog. That's
right.
what that is.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about one last thing, that story in Jerry Bridges' book, Pursuit of Holiness, where this pastor was on a train sitting next to a drunk man, and the drunk man was throwing him back, and he ended up getting a conversation with the pastor he was sitting next to, and the pastor was kind of asking him about who he was and what he does, and the drunk man was kind of talking about his situation, and the drunk man ended up offering alcohol from his flask to the pastor. Yeah. And the pastor was like, hey, man, I actually don't drink. I'm actually on my way to preach right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm a pastor. And the drunken man said, oh, my gosh, you must think that I'm a dirty, filthy, drunk man. Right. And the pastor said, oh, not at all. I actually found you to be very generous. That you were willing to share this with me. Yeah. You could say either of those, but it is a mark of maturity, right? Where at the very least you can say both. Yeah. Yeah. Where I can still see vestiges of the image of God, you know, in what folks are doing, even if I don't agree with them. And I can confront what I don't agree with by still holding on to their dignity and humanity. Yeah. I mean, Paul says, I know people are preaching because they're trying to make money. Yeah. What you are accusing people of doing every single day online, Paul says, I know them dudes by name. Yeah, I know exactly. The dudes that are just preaching because they are trying to build make a life hard for me and build a platform for themselves. Yep. Yet I rejoice that the gospel's still going forward. Yeah. We got to Paul deals with other stuff, though. Of course, he doesn't just let it slide. Like, don't worry about it. Right. But don't worry about it. He has a moment where he also shows you that he rejoices in the good the grace that is still there. Yes. Yeah. And no amount of talent will get you there, bro. No amount of, you can't be smart enough, like you can't like be charming enough or successful enough or rich enough to have that as your heart posture. Yeah, you're right. You got to go to the boring, easy, mundane, spiritual stuff to find the most important pathway to your own maturity. Yeah, yeah. Which also has your joy and your happiness. Yeah. Let us apply that and let us not fear. Amen. But let us trust in God. Yeah. This has been Southside Rabbi. My name is K to the second letter. I mean the dream. Peace. Peace.